Hey everybody. So today what we're going to look at is the firewalls and the configuration for active standby with the Cisco ASA 9.14. So if we do a show version, this is running 9.14 of the ASAv code. So this is pretty recent. Here's the information. And right now it's in active standby mode. So if we do a show failover, there you can see the connectivity. This is the primary. It's active. It's right now configured. Here you see the firewall. Gig 00 is the outside connected to a switch. Gig 06 is the failover link, and gig 01 is the inside. I also have a DMZ configured but not being used right now, and that I think in future videos I'm going to add the DMZ to this setup. All right, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to close these windows, and what we're going to do is set these, we're going to wipe these configs. So I'm going to wipe this one. And yes, I do want to do that. And I'm going to wipe the secondary. So what this will do is return it to basically a clean slate. So we'll configure all this right now. And now we should have lost connectivity out here. You see we can't ping end to end. This is Docker up to the Docker up at the top. So, okay, we don't have connectivity. So that's our goal, to restore that connectivity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this. And I'll start this one. I'll open that up. All right, so while that starts, I'm going to pause the video and I'll be right back. Okay, so now the ASA is back up. Let's enable. We're going to set a password. I'm just going to set it as Eve1. Eve1. And we will write mem to save it. And now what we'll do is we'll go config t. I'm going to say no to that. And I'm going to do a host name. Call this internet ASA1. Okay, it's not going to let me use that. Let's try that because I can't. Come on. So there we go. Internet ASA1. So if we do a show run, and you can do a show, you don't have to, like, this is not like the router where you have to do a do in front of it. You can just do a show run from the config mode. It'll allow that. So there you can see nothing is configured on any of these interfaces. So that's our next step, will be to configure these interfaces 00, 06, and 01. So let's do that. So interface gig 0/0. Okay, that's going to be our outside. So what we do there is we do a name if. This will name it outside. And the security level is automatically set to 0 by default. So we don't even have to set that for something named outside. We give it an IP address. And so the IP address here is going to be, it's on the 65.10.10 network. So what we're going to do is we're going to give it 65.10.10.4 and a 24-bit mask. And then the standby is going to be 65.10.10.5. So the standby will have this address and the primary is going to have this address. So you have to have two different IPs for this. And we're doing the 4 and the .5 on this network. So the 2 and the .3 are owned by R1 and R2. and the HSRP address is .1. So 65.10.10.1 is the HSRP address for outbound traffic. All right, so we add that and do a no shut. Okay, so that's interface gig 00. So now if we do show run, can I do this? Interface gig 0/0? Yes. So there you can see the configuration. Interface gig 00 name if outside, security level 0, IP address with a standby address also. Okay, so next step, interface gig 0/1. And we're going to do a name if inside, and this will automatically set it to 100. So 100's the trusted security level, 0 is untrusted. Name if inside, set to 100 by default, IP address. So the IP address for the inside is, it's going to be on the 10.150 network. And we are going to give this 10.150.254.2, 255.255.255.0, standby 10.150.254.3. So this will be the 2 and the .3 will be the standby. All right. Next step, we're going to give a DM. We're going to set up the DMZ. We're not really going to use it. Let me do a no shut on that. Interface gig 0/2 is going to be our DMZ. We're going to leave this in shutdown. Okay, so name if DMZ. And we'll give this one a security level 90. And an IP address of 10.120.20.1. Again, 24 bits. And the standby is going to be 10.120.20.2. Okay, so those three are configured. And we have the interface gig 06. So we're not gonna, so let's show run. Let's take a look at this. So right there, 00 looks good. 01 looks good. 02 is still shut down. That's fine because we're not using it right now. And 06. So we want to do a no shut and we'll give it a description because it's going to be our failover. So let's go into their interface gig 0/6 and we'll write description LAN failover interface. Okay. And then a no shut on that. Okay, so that's done. So all the interfaces are now set up. So right now we're gonna, let's exit and let's set up some objects. So this is gonna be for NAT. I'm gonna set up a few objects. So this is gonna be network any, and this will be the subnet 0.0.0. So this is anything. And I'll show you where we're going to use this in a second. And I'm going to set up an object, network, object -65 10 10 10, and that's going to be host 65.10.10.10. That's what we're going to use for the PAT address for the outgoing internet traffic. Okay, so that object's created. Both objects are created. Let's create the ACL list for the inbound traffic. So access list spell it right, access list, ACL out, extend it, permit. We're going to allow pings, any, echo reply. Okay, so we're allowing that. Access list, ACL out. And I'm going to do a remark here. So remarks are very good to make sure you document your ACLs. So you can go back and look at this in a few months and know why you did this way. So there's an ACL access list. One more, two more lines here. Now extend it, permit, ICMP, any unreachable. And what I can do is you can just copy this, right? You can just go permit any time exceeded. Okay. So if we do a show access list, and that's the formatting's kind of bad. Let me expand that. There you can see the access list, no hits on it, but that is, so that's our access list. And it's not applied to anything right now, but we're going to apply it to the outside. Okay. Yeah, why don't we do that next? So access group ACL underscore out. Going in the interface outside. Okay, so that is now set up. So our next step, let's get NAT working. So NAT inside, outside, source, dynamic. This is going to use that network any to object. So this is using our object 65 underscore 10 underscore 10 underscore 10. So that's giving our PAT. This is our PAT address, the 65 10 10 10. Okay, that is now configured. Okay, let's do some routes. So this is a static route. Route outside, send everything to 65.10.10.1. So that is our HSRP address on these router 1, router 2 that go out to the internet. Okay, that is configured. Let's see, we've got let's do a route inside. So incoming traffic, route inside 10 destined for 10.150.0.0, and we'll just do this whole class, this whole 10.150/16, 10.150.254.1. So that is on the core switch. The core switch has that address. So this is just going to send everything bound for 10.150. It's going to go to the core switch. The core switch has the SVIs, and they'll be able to route anywhere else. Okay, so that is now configured. So now we're going to go into the failover commands. So let's look at that. So here we go, failover. Failover LAN unit primary, so we'll make this the primary. Failover LAN, and we give it an interface. And let's see, what's the command? Okay, so it's failover. That's the name of the interface. Gigabit Ethernet 0/6. Okay, so it cleared the config on gig 06. Show run interface gig 0/6. Let's see. Okay, so everything's cleared. It just has the description, which tells us it's the LAN failover interface. Okay, next step in the failover is going to be failover interface IP. We're going to give this an IP now. 1.0.0.1, 255.255.255.252. And this just has to be, this is just between these failover interfaces. So we're doing a /30, I believe, and then the standby 1.0.0.2. And now we're going to give it a key, failover IPsec. And this will give us a pre-shared key, and we're just going to do eve1. Okay. I think that is, let's take a look, is that all the config that we need to do to get this working? Well, let's see. First of all, can we ping? So we still can't ping. That's fine for right now. Let's see. Let's do a show run. So 65.10.10.4, that's good. No shot, that's no shot. 2 is shut down, that's okay. And 6 is our failover. We have our object created. Okay. So it's going to say no. So there you just saw that message, no active mate could detect it. That's because we do not have the secondary configured yet, and we'll do that in a second. Let's try this. Ping 65.10.10.1. And we're able to ping. So there you see we can ping this HSRP address. That's good. Let's make sure we can ping 10.150.254.1. Okay, so that is the address right here. All right, so let's see. Okay, so now we are able to ping. Yeah, so we just have this one setup so far, but we do have end-to-end reachability at this point because that's all we really need. It's active standby, so that's why we have it right now. Let's configure the secondary. So on the secondary, all you need to do is we're going to set it up with eve1 as the password. So there's not too much you have to do here. Config T. We don't even have to change the name really, because it's going to just write over it. Config T. Wow. Okay. So let's go into our failover commands. Failover LAN interface, failover, Okay, let's do this. Failover interface IP failover 1.0.0.1 standby 1.0.0.2.2. Okay, failover IPsec pre-shared key eve1. That's we're just going to use that. It's simple. Show run. So you can see right now 6 is still shut down. So let's go in there and enable that. And this should no shut that one. And okay, so now here you go. Detected an active mate. Creating. So it got the configuration. So now take a look. Internet ASA1. So all we had to do was the failover commands on the secondary, and it was able to connect. We had to enable the failover interface on ASA2. But you can see it's still named ASA1 because it's getting an exact replica. And anytime you write to here, you'll see it right on the other one too. Okay, so let's go back and let me show you the show run. And now we can see gig 00 has the same exact, all the configs are the same. So everything we set up here has been replicated. So it's all replicated over to the secondary. So it's super simple. You don't have to set up very much on the secondary. You just do the failover commands and it brings over the config. We should have connectivity, which we had, so that's good. Stop that. Let's take a look at some failover commands. So show failover. So right now, this one's the active. This is the secondary. We know that. I'm going to show you how to fail it over, which you may have to do if you're doing an upgrade. You can do a hitless upgrade. Nothing goes down. It fails over. No problems. Let's do a ping there. Let's keep this ping running. And okay, so okay, so that is up. Let's do failover. Let me see what the command is here. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this secondary active. So if I do a failover, if I do a show failover, to show you this is the standby, and then failover active. So this one, there you see it switching to standby, switching to active, and there we go. Nothing's missed, no ping miss. It just goes right over. Now the second one, ASA2, is now the active. And if we do a show failover, there you can see 21 seconds it's been active. So I'm going to switch it back. And it's back. Show failover. So now it's back over on 1. All right, so that's how you configure firewall ASA failover. Pretty simple, and it works really well. Well, thank you for watching.